Hello friends, this is Adnan Qaiser once again. I am presenting you the third and last episode of the sales discussion which we started today, and I hope you're getting some valuable insight from it, from the different concepts which I've tried to explain to you. If you remember in the first first and second sections of this discussion, we talked about what exactly is sales and how we can relate it to our everyday life. We also talked about the requirements or prerequisites of being a good salesperson or a great salesman. The and then I had explained to you two sales terminologies, which are called upselling and cross-selling, and I gave you certain examples of these two terminologies. I hope uh, you have you have understood them well, and I'm going to practice it. And in the second episode, I had mentioned to you about a sales technique which was called guest program, GUEST. I hope that technique is I've made some sense to you. And today, in this last episode, we are going to discuss spin selling. So, as I mentioned to you in the beginning, spin selling is not about a cricket technique, giving a spin to a cricket ball. It's a step-by-step procedure of carrying out a complex sale or related to like a transfer of technology. As I mentioned to you, that the sales could be selling of a household product, anything, and going to a selling a Boeing jet. So the concepts remain the same. It's only new terminologies and new techniques come in. It's just an example of you are driving a car on the road. So the road sense and the same features remain the same. And then the moment you step into a huge truck, the concept would remain the same. You would apply the same principles and procedures. It's only the gadgets would come a little new. So spin selling is the same concept as related to the guest. The guest program or the guest technique was a little simpler one, which you could use it. Spin selling is applicable when you're doing a little complex sales or transfer of technology. So try to understand. It's not difficult to understand and practice it. It's I had mentioned to you about need, to understand the need of your customer. So again, it revolves around the need of your customer. If you understand it squarely well, then you can sell the right and appropriate product to your customer, and obviously you could have a lasting relationship, sales relationship, or a personal relationship with the other person. So spin selling, here you need to ask certain specific questions. So first of all, let's begin with what spin stands for. So the S in the spin stands for situation questions. So you need to, as I mentioned, you need to ask a certain type of questions. So the S is situation questions. P stands for problem questions. I is implication questions. I also stands for drawing inference. Inferences or implications are the deductions or analysis which you carry out as a person after getting a set of information available to you. And the finally N stands for need payoff. So remember the word need. I have been repeatedly using it because sales are related to the need of your customer. So you have to understand the need of your customer and then sell the right product to your customer. The customer, as I mentioned, may or may not know what exactly he or she needs it. So you, as a product expert with product knowledge, you have to explain to them and sell the right product to your customer to have a relationship, which lasts long and leads to recurring and repeat business for your company as well as for yourself. So let's begin with the situation questions first. What are the situation questions? Suppose a customer walks into your store or happen to call on you or you call on him on a sales call. So as I mentioned, a sales call is when you go and personally meet with your prospective customer in person. Either he or she invites you or on a cold call, or you make a warm call. We discussed it earlier. Cold call is when you go and meet for the first time with a customer, and warm call is when you have already established some kind of a rapport or a acquaintance with the other person or customer, and then that is called as warm calling. So assume that the customer is owner of a SME. SME stands for a small to medium enterprise. The customer needs a software from you for his ERP, for instance. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, in which you organize your business by allowing the users as well as your staff or your clients to use a set of information to collect, store, manage, and interpret your data. It's not the scope of this lesson to tell you about ERP or enterprise resource planning, but while we are here, just for your understanding, every business has certain core processes, the basic ones to run a company. They could be finance, HR or human resource, manufacturing, supply chain management, services, and procurement. So when you integrate all these things into one, and your staff as well as your clients are already using that information and set of processes, so that is called enterprise resource planning, or it is also has a different name as well. So forget about that for the moment. It helps in a better decision making, but it's a IT or information technology based software. For today's lesson, we'll restrict our scope to discussing about a customer who needs an IT software, information technology software, for his business need. So instead of reaching out to the shelf and picking out a DVD software DVD, and handing it over to your customer, you begin asking the situation questions first. You need to understand the exact size and scope of your customer's business. How many employees work in that enterprise? What is the organizational structure or model? And what are the core processes that govern the enterprise? You need to know and fully understand about your company's business profile and how it interacts with its clients. And you have to understand the real business need. I'll come to this business need again. Then we come to the problem questions. Problem questions are, after understanding the infrastructure and the core processes of a company, you have to understand the exact nature of the deficiency or demand or the need of that company that needs to be fulfilled. And that you can do by asking specific problem questions. So you've understood the situation of the company. Now you have to understand what is the problem which the company is facing. So you begin asking what this software or IT software can do for why do they need this specific IT software? What is the problem they are facing? How this specific software application can overcome their problem or their set of problems. What is the nature and extent of the problem? How big is the problem? how many users would be using it at one single time? Like obviously, there are interfaces, there are different users like staff as well as your clients would be simultaneously using it, the software. So you have to understand the parameters, how big or small is the usage of that application. Then you have to understand the downtime. The downtime is basically when this software system is down for maintenance purposes, or when it is down for repairs. So you have to understand all these problems. So a word about need. I've been talking all along about this business need. So don't be hung up with this word problem. As I mentioned, a problem could be a business need. Maybe the business is widening its scope. It could be a business need. The business could be adding new products. Maybe the business is moving to a new geographical region, or maybe introducing a new a sister concern in a new geographical location. So the business is widening up. Obviously, there is a vacuum. There is a need that needs to be fulfilled. So that needs to be understood squarely. Maybe the business is launching new products. So obviously its scope is widening up. So, or maybe the business has been selling some products and now it needs to complement it with certain services. So by selling products, it is offering the services as well. So again, a vacuum is created. This is a problem, and this needs to be fulfilled. So this, after understanding the situation questions and the problem questions, we come to the implication questions. Now, after you have got a detailed set of information at your hand, now you as a salesperson have to make your own deductions. You have to draw your own inferences about a particular situation or a problem. So this you do by asking implication questions. So in simple words, when you know the ground situation and you know what the business need is, all you have to do is to identify and highlight the resultant vacuum which needs to be fulfilled. So situation is the ground situation, the infrastructure of the company. The problem is the vacuum which needs to be fulfilled. And now you have to imply that what the problem is leading to such certain problems. So what are the implications of not having a certain IT technology or a certain software? What are the resultant problems of not having that set of IT thing? So it might be hindering a business expansion, for instance. You have to list it down, everything. There could be an existing faulty system, which is bringing a lot of downtime for maintenance and repairs. So you have to identify it, you have to imply it, you have to draw your inference after having a set of information. And obviously this business need or deficiency is adversely affecting a certain your clients or your customer's business, which is affecting his revenue, obviously, and which needs to be duly addressed. So you need to highlight each and every aspect of what the deficiency or the business need is causing. Now, here pause for a moment and look back and connect this lesson with the guest technique, which we have discussed in part 2. The guest was, after greeting, you understand your customer and then you educate your customer. So what is the situation question and the problem question and the implication question are basically understanding the need of your customer. So everything is the same. You of the guest understand. And finally, the N for spin selling is the need payoff. Again, the word need the business deficiency, the business requirement, the vacuum, the problem, and that how can it be paid off well by having a certain a software, for instance, or any product or service available to your customer. So this is the how best you a certain product or a service could squarely meet the problem or the need of your customer. So that is paying the need pay off. Remember, as you as a salesperson is always the subject matter expert. You have the product knowledge. It is only you who know what is best suited for a specific situation, for a specific customer. The customer, as I mentioned, may or may not know what is the right product for him or her. So it is you who are going to counsel it, advise him that this is not the right product, this ABC is not right, DEF perhaps may be able to, is maybe best suited for you. It is your responsibility as a salesperson to suggest to your customer in all your integrity and uprightness to give the best possible advice and the best possible product to your customer. Now go back and remember what I had counseled you in the beginning. Again, the customer may insist on buying certain product, but it is your ethical and moral responsibility to convince your customer that certain products are not suitable for you, and certain product is basically would actually pay off that need which you are facing. Here you will again come face the question of morality and ethics. Now go back to my previous lesson that you will come across several situations where you would be tempted to do upselling, sell something which can pay temporarily to your company or to yourself an extra money temporarily, but it may not be squarely meeting the need of that customer. So you may get your company some additional dollars or momentarily, but try to see it on a larger canvas. Would it be ethically, morally right decision to give a wrong product to your customer, which you would consider as an upselling, but the customer doesn't need it? So this is I leave this decision to you to make, but you will occasionally you will come across this kind of a situation. But think for a moment, what would happen? You may be able to sell a wrong product to your customer. The customer would buy it, you would get the money, but you may lose the confidence of that customer for your life, because it would not result into a recurring or repeat business, because you have failed in establishing a strong relationship bond with the customer. Not only that, now try to understand that the industry basically are called as verticals. So the people in certain vertical, construction for instance, they are associated to each other. So they obviously they exchange their notes. So if you provide a wrong product to a customer A, then obviously the customer B would also be put off, would not see you in a better light, that you have not provided a right product to customer A. So the B would be discouraged to give his or her business to you. So obviously you would be a loser. So try to always squarely meet the need of that customer. It may get you less money to your company, but again, it's imperative to have the confidence of that customer. So again, as I mentioned, trust, relationship, goodwill of your customer is very important for your reputation and image and everything depends on your integrity and personal character. These decisions you have to take as a salesperson consistently, and I'm sure with your wisdom and acumen and your good judgment, you will be able to always make a right decision, which satisfies your heart, and it enhances your reputation and addresses the need of your customer, and the customer has a stronger bond with you. So now this is all about spin selling. Again, it's a fairly simple concept. You ask certain questions and you apply those questions, and then you pay off the need of that customer. It's very much related to the guest, the GUEST, greet, understand, educate, sell, and think. So now let's discuss something about technique of making a cold call. I had told you that I would be just touching upon this cold call. I learned it at in a certain company. So cold call actually happens when you meet or speak to someone for the first time. So they do not know you. You guys don't know each other, and obviously there is a stranger barrier in between. So obviously, when you make a phone call to somebody to get an appointment, the other person is reluctant because he has or she has their own schedule and priorities of their daily life. So why should they give you an appointment and invest their half an hour or 1 hour in meeting you unless you convince them? So this is important. They may be quizzical about your intentions. Um, why are you coming to see them? Obviously, a common question arises. So, as I mentioned to you, that generally people are distrustful towards the salespeople. They say, they might be coming to waste my time, or he may be trying to fleece me or make me buy a certain product which I really don't need. So all these apprehensions, they make the customer or the prospective customer a bit reluctant to grant you time to come over and meet him or her. Again, the stranger barrier between the two of you would be a biggest impediment in getting you an appointment. So how do you overcome all these problems and make the other person give you time to meet him or her and eagerly await as well? So first of all, remember that as human beings, we are generally polite and friendly people. Most of us, obviously, and I have a firm belief that we are generally we are polite people. So we carry tenderness towards others, and we equally wish to be treated with cordiality and conviviality, and if not affection. So if you meet a person, or so that it's important first for you to greet him or her properly. Be affectionate, be genuine, exchange pleasantries with all your sincerity. So all your emotions or your feelings would be transferred to the other person. So the other person would reciprocate with the same feeling. So greeting is very important for the first time. So whenever, even if you call somebody, do greet the other person and be genuine and sincere. So now, I just want to give you a small exercise to do about this about human behavior, because what you do, what you extend, what you offer to the other person would also reciprocate to you in the same manner. It's important. So first of all, let's do a small exercise. Lift your right hand and ask somebody, your friends or anybody, to put their hand opposite to your palm, right? So opposite to your palm like this. So do you feel any pressure? No, I don't think so. There is no pressure. Now try for pushing your palm towards the other person. Slowly push their palm. What you will see that the other person will also inadvertently or involuntarily starts to push your palm in opposite direction. So you are pushing. First you put the palms together. There was no pressure. Now you have started to push your palm towards the other side. The other person has also started to push. Do this exercise and you will find out. This is how this is a basic principle of human behavior. If you are cordial and convivial towards the other person, there is no point that the other person would reciprocate you with hostility or some kind of a bad behavior. So this is the greet of the guest. So be genuine and sincere towards other person. Secondly, remember one thing about this meeting and appointments and everything. What is the prime interest as a human being or as a person? What is our basic interest in our importance in our life? Yes, our own personal interest. so if I were to tell you that I want to meet you and show you something that will bring a revolutionary change in your life for the better, don't you think you would be interested? So again, my prime interest is my own betterment. So if somebody or you have to tell me that you have something, certain thing, which will further improve my life, I will pause for a moment and think, what is the harm in seeing? So there you break the second obstacle. First is by greeting, you break the stranger barrier. Secondly, you have to tell the other person that genuinely that you have certain product or service or whatever which would revolutionize in the other person's life. So he would or she would think that no harm in meeting. That is the third is very important. Never ever ask for an appointment or a meeting. Never ever say, can I come? May I come and meet you? No. That is a no. The other person would straight away say, I'm busy. Maybe some other time. Or maybe he or she would make some excuse. So this is a wrong approach. So instead, try saying, I have something very exciting for you, and I'm sure it is going to benefit you a lot. So can I come tomorrow at 10:30 or would 3:30 be fine? Now, pause for a moment and see what you have done. You have not asked them if you can come and meet them, but you have said, I have something very exciting and beneficial for you. So can I come tomorrow at 10:30 or 3:30 would be suitable? Think for a while what you have done here by saying this sentence. Yes, you have taken out the option of saying no to you, whether or if to grant you an appointment or not. Because now you have put the other person into a new thinking position. Now he or she is not bothered or not concerned whether to receive you or not. But the other person is now, in his mind or her mind, she is thinking, what would I be doing at 10:30 tomorrow or 3:30? So she is caught up in their own schedule. So now, in all probability, they would blurt out, they would say that, well, 10:30 I would be busy in a meeting. I think you can come at 3:30. That's it. Here you have secured an appointment from a stranger by making a cold telephone call, and all you have to do now is to thank them profoundly, profusely, reassure them that the tomorrow's meeting is going to be great, and so that they should keenly await and expect you to make a revolutionary change in their life, and put down the phone. Thank them, and that's it. You have secured a successful telephone appointment. So now a small word about breaking the stranger barrier. Tell me again, what is the most comfortable subject that you can talk for hours and hours and hours? Yes, weather could be one. We can talk. Well, again, it has a limited scope. That today's weather is very sunny. We are expecting a rain shower. Maybe the winter would come early. That's it. So the conversations are limited in this. End of story. Remember, it is we ourselves on which we can talk for hours and hours at length without getting any burden or getting tired. So if you ask me myself, I can begin from my childhood and I can talk all the years of my life, and I would never get tired because I know and everything has been memorized in my heart and mind. So uh, remember I had narrated you the story of that barber or a hairdresser and the beauty salon lady who was grieving some services. What she has done, they have asked you a one simple question. So how's your day? Oh, what's going on? And now you begin by telling, I got up early and then I went there and I did this and I that. So what is happening? You're narrating your own life story of today, that day's events. And you are not realizing that the service provider is not paying attention really to what you are saying because he or she has made you to speak. And now when you are telling the stories of your own life, you are lightening yourself, you are unburdening yourself, you are unwinding yourself by doing things. So when you end up with the service, you have shed all the negativities of your life. So you by just talking about yourself. So it's the same thing. Remember the cardinal point of being a great salesperson: make the other person speak. The same thing which I have mentioned in the two techniques: ask questions, make prod, push, ask polite questions, ask indirect questions, and then your customer would get comfortable with you and would start talking about. So if you make them speak, as I mentioned to you a number of times, you're making them more relaxed and comfortable with you. They begin to trust you. And all you have to do is to be a good listener. Remember the first principle which I told you? We all know how to talk, but it is imperative to know what to talk and what is the right time to talk and how much to talk. You don't have to speak a lot. Limited, measured sentences, and they should be basically questions which you are directing towards your customer so that he or she narrates the life story to you. And that will help you understand the customer's need as well as give you their situation, their need that you have to address by paying off that need. So establishing a proper rapport with your customer is the most important thing in your life as a salesperson, and I'm sure no sale would be ever difficult for you in your life. Before taking your leave, let me share with you a quote by a famous motivational speaker and author. His name is Zig Ziglar. I read one of his quotes several years ago when he mentioned, "Dream for the stars and get them." Now again, the concept, try to understand. You cannot dream for the stars and actually get the stars. But what actually happens as a human being when you dream for the same certain thing? I hinted about that thing in the law of attraction when I had discussed about the two book reviews on YouTube, on Maulana Rumi and The Alchemist. I had mentioned about the law of attraction. इतनी शिद्दत से तुझे पाने की कोशिश की है कि हर जर्रे ने मुझे तुझसे मिलाने की साजिश की है. So it's the same law of attraction. When you begin to focus on certain thing, you begin to involuntarily start proceeding towards that aim, ambition, destination, or whatever you can call it. So Zig Ziglar had said, dream for the stars and get them. So if you dream for certain thing, for instance, if you want to excel in your profession, obviously you have to begin moving towards that certain direction. So he said, stop selling. Zig Ziglar further said, stop selling and start helping. Now again, the toolman's philosophy. He said, with his bag of tools, he make friends. So the same thing you have to apply. Actually, my friends, you as a salesperson or even in your individual capacity, try to think that by helping out people, you're doing them a favor and you're making friends. You're carrying out relationship management. You're making lasting relations. You are creating faith in other person's faith about yourself. You're becoming more trustworthy. You're becoming more reliable. It helps you. It helps you refine your own personality. You will have a better character. You will become a person of integrity. And all these things would help you become a better human being. I encourage you to not only apply what you have learned today, but practice it, everyday life. And I assure you, I'm sure you will reap rich dividends in your life. With this, I have all my prayers to all the students who have listened to this. I hope there had been some benefit to you and some value to you. And I wish you all the best in your professional careers and in your personal life. Remember, personal fulfillment and professional growth are two important aspects of your life which you should focus. With this, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for patiently listening to me. This is Adnan Qaiser signing off. Until next time. Thank you.